So I've grown up in a Christian upbringing. I have been amazingly blessed to know a great man of God and to have been taught of him. And you know, then I don't know. I couldn't point to when it started, but possibly somewhere around a year ago, maybe 6 months to a year ago, I just kind of felt like I know as much of God as I need to know. And I stopped searching for him. I started seeking him. I stopped. I was skipping the Bible meetings. I mean, I felt like, what more is there to learn? I kind of know what I need to know. Love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. You know? And I think I even made the comment to somebody that, you know, me and God, you know, we've got an understanding, you know, like I just love him and he just kind of, you know, watches over me, you know, like there wasn't really a relationship. I felt guilty. I did feel guilty. I felt, you know, started getting those feelings, you know, you really haven't read the Bible in a long time. You should probably read something. And I was so self-conscious of, man, did I ask God to bless the food at breakfast? Oh my gosh, I'm really getting out of this. And you know, I felt like I was moving away from the relationship from him. And I think when I believe that my life started falling apart, but I didn't care. I've never been a real materialistic person. My Xbox broke, and you know, you may laugh, but I'm like a huge gamer. My whole life, my friends have made comments. They're like, Chris, when he plays games, he doesn't eat, he doesn't sleep, he doesn't go to the bathroom, he doesn't blink, he just, you know, and I'm not the most sociable person. I don't really care to go out and spend money on watching movies or going bowling, or I mean, when in a crowd of people, I'm the one off in the corner in the back, just kind of like not wishing I was here. I'd rather be playing a video game, you know. Some people like to go out and just be around people and talk, and I'm not like that. Even when I was a little kid, I've always been independent. I played by myself more than I played with others. I just had fun. I don't know. I don't have to have fun all the time. That's probably a pretty good way to say it. I'm not always looking for the next way to have fun. I'm just content. Doing whatever, you know. If I am at Wild Adventures or Universal, you know, with some friends, yeah, that's cool, you know, I'll go do that every now and again, but more often than not, I'd just rather be alone, or, you know, not doing something, or you know, playing a video game. Recently it's changed, but I'll get to that. Like I said, my Xbox broke, you know, and I was like, oh, I don't care. You know, just an Xbox, just games. And then my Xbox 360 broke. And again, you know, even though I love playing them, I still had the mentality of, you know, not very materialistic. I was like, it broke, you know, who cares? You know, and I just started playing games on my computer, you know, and it's hard to say put the business, you know, our business in the same category, because it's not just me involved. You know, it's my dad and mom and my brother, but the business was really failing too. And I'll get into like God refining us in a little bit, but I believe our whole family needed refining. And me and Dad have talked about it a whole lot in the past several weeks about how we realized we needed to be refined, and this was one of the ways God was refining us. But even the family business that I talked about earlier, you know, God making it flourish, you know, that was it went bankrupt. It totally died. No customers, you know, and I was like, I don't care, you know. That seems too nonchalant. I had the mindset of, there's something else we can do. We'll go out and get a job. Everything will be fine, you know. It doesn't, you know, life isn't about money. It's never been about money for me. Even when I was just working and never pulling in paychecks, you know, I was just working to help the family out. You know, I didn't care about not getting paychecks as long as, I mean, we got fed. I had a roof over my head and I got fed. I didn't need anything, you know. I don't care for money. And money, yeah, it can bring you nice things, but I didn't care to have nice things. I don't care to have fancy watches, nice rides, nice clothes. Yeah, I mean, a white t-shirt is my favorite t-shirt, and they're cheap. You can get like dime a dozen for them. I don't care to have a Aeropostale, Abercrombie & Fitch. There's nothing wrong with them, but I don't care to have them. I've had these pair of jeans for like 3 years now, and they look fine. In fact, all my jeans I've had for a very long time. All my shirts I've had for a very long time. I just don't care to buy nice things or spend money. I just think of it a lot of time as a wasted resource, buying new things all the time. But anyways, I lost a lot of things. I wasn't hanging out with friends. You know, I was really getting absorbed into the video game world, which there's a fine line to be drawn, because I had a lot of good friends on the video game. It was my social network. It was my Facebook. I got on there and talked with people. I wouldn't even be playing. I'd just talk with my friends on there. And so, you know, I cannot even think of the word. But like, when you think of people that play video games, you do think of non-sociable people. But I had friends. I had good friends, you know. And I talked with them all the time. I hung out with them all the time. It was just on a video game instead of at the bowling alley or in the movie theaters. And that was fine with me. Life was perfect. But then I lost something that wasn't material. I lost a friend. And it killed me. She was the most dearest friend. She was all I cared about. And I realized now, you know, well, I have realized for a while now, but the pride that I was getting into pushed our relationship apart. And I lost her. And I mean, my heart shattered into a million pieces when I kind of woke up from the prideful state that I was into. and I tried to bring it back together. I tried to, with all my strength to bring it back together, and it didn't work. And the one thing that I did right was I ran to this book right here, the Bible. I ran to it, and my first prayer was, I started realizing that in my trying to hold that one thing in my life I cared about, when I tried to hold it together, I realized I was making it worse. So I disappeared. I backed out from everything. I quit everything. I quit video games. I have not, I don't want to say not touched, but does my phone count? Little robo defense in my spare time, or a few times, not even my spare time, but I haven't even really touched video games. I've hardly touched movies. I've hardly touched anything. I realized my life was way out of whack, and I went to God and I said, I cannot fix this. And I know how God works. At least I have a good idea. It's hard to say you know anything of the Bible, because you could read the scripture again and you would have a whole new revelation of its meaning. But I had a really good idea of how God works. And I mean, I've always thought of God as a father. And how would a father-son relationship, the son hasn't cared about keeping in contact with the dad, and then all of a sudden he runs back to him knowing that he's the only one that can fix this problem in his life. How should that son return and ask him, is he going to just run to him and say, hey, fix this for me? I know we haven't talked in a long time, but you're the only one that can fix this. Fix it. No. I know God, I wouldn't want somebody to come to me like that. I know my dad wouldn't want me to come to him like that. So I came to God very humbly, and I said, God, I can't fix this. My own efforts make it worse. You're the only one that can fix this. It is, and I learned the scripture real early on, let your requests be made known to God. And I said, Lord, it is my request that you fix this. So God, whatever you need to do, let me know and I'll do it. For this one friend, with that separation of friendship, which I'll get into a little bit, the blessing that happened because of that. But I went straight to God. I humbled myself. I said, God, I've done you wrong. And I thought your hand was on my life. Losing materialistic things is not a sign that God is not with you. It's not a sign that God's with you either. But I knew it surely was not a sign that God was not with you. So losing materialistic things, I wasn't, it was, I don't care,